So a couple of the things that we do that are unique to our harvest dinner is we release the Oscar and Matilda Shiraz and we taste the 2020 wines that we made, and it gives us an opportunity to look at the harvest that has just had and also the new release of our flagship wine. We won't taste the 2020 wines today, but we will talk about the 2017 Oscar and Matilda. This is the second release of this wine, and I think it encapsulates everything that we want this wine to be. When I talk about Barossa Shiraz being great, I talk about a balance between power and elegance, or depth and structure. And this wine has all that. 2017 delivered us a perfect vintage. And I think even though 2016 will be talked about as the better harvest, I think 2017 for Izway and for our style, I think you could argue a point that we make better wines in these wetter, cooler years where we have higher yields. The reason for that, I think, is that we hang the fruit out for longer. It gives us an opportunity to ferment things a little cooler in the winery, and it gives us fruit that has perfect phenolic ripeness or perfect physiological ripeness in the vineyard, and it also gives us amazing depth of flavour and structure. The 2017 Oscar and Matilda has amazing aromatics. It's really floral, fresh and vibrant. All these words probably don't mean too much, I suppose, but the idea of purity and freshness and energy in the wine is really what I want the wine to look like as a winemaker. When I walked through the vineyards in 2017, I didn't expect this wine to look like it does in 3 or 4 years' time. I think it's quite a magical example of Barossa Valley Shiraz, and I think it's really important to note that I was actually quite surprised by it the first time I tasted a bottle of this. Usually when I'm so close to the fruit, I can see elements of what I expect in the wine when it's released. But this wine really took me back, really surprised me, the way that it sort of structured up and the way that it evolved, particularly in the maturation in the barrel. So I'll have a bit of a look at it aromatically. I can see a lot of those traditional characters of the northwestern ridge of the Barossa, lots of coffee, dark chocolate, mocha. There's a little bit of that olive tapenade. Certainly probably more floral than I'd expect it to be, so violets and lavender and things like that come to mind, but definitely lots of those traditional aromatics that I see from the northwestern ridge. On the palate, now that this wine has been open for probably a couple of hours, I can see it's almost perfect, really layered, quite complex. Beautiful tannin, quite firm, obvious tannin, wonderful natural acidity, but also there's a depth and a texture to the wine that screams Barossa Valley and is synonymous with the way that Izway makes wine. I wouldn't encourage people to open this for probably the first 5 years. If you are impatient and you do want to have a look at it, I would really encourage you to decant it, let it breathe and let it evolve and open up and unfold. In a way, it's quite tightly wound and probably more tightly structured and tightly bound than the 2016 was. I think what sets this apart from the 16 is that it is a little tighter, whereas the 16 drank so beautifully on opening. It was quite soft with its tannin. This could actually end up being a better wine in 10 or 20 years. And what we'd encourage people to do is buy your 3 bottles, sit them down, maybe open one after 5 years, but certainly encourage you to keep them for 10 to 20 years. And I think you'll be more than rewarded with a great drinking experience after that period of time.